Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back playing some FTB Infinity for episode 36. Now, at the end of last episode, we finished up this slightly weird contraption that we have over here for turning the redstone flux that is being generated by our big reactor into EU, which is then being used to power our recycler and our mass fabricator. Now, you can probably hear that god-awful sound, and I'll just turn this up just a little bit, just in case you can't hear it. That sound there, that grinding, is the horrible sound coming from our industrial craft machines because they don't have enough power. When industrial craft machines don't have enough power, they make that horrible sound, and what we're going to do today is we're going to fix that. So you'll notice we've got some nice little gaps either side of the elevator here, and what we're going to do is we're going to stick down some dynamos from thermal expansion, and we're going to generate some power. Now, somebody in the comment section of the last episode, and if I remember, I'll stick the comment up on screen real quick, suggested that we use our cows to actually generate a little bit of power, and I thought that was a kind of cool idea. It's a bit of a wacky way of making some power, and for anyone who, if you've made it this far in the series, you've watched like all 35 episodes before this, you'll know that we're kind of all about the wacky stuff. We could quite easily just make this big reactor a little bit bigger on either side. We could quite easily just go ahead and throw down a few more geothermal generators over here and a few more of these electric engines, but that's not what we do. We're not about the easy stuff. We're about finding the wackiest, the funnest way that we can go ahead and make some power, and today we're going to use our cows, at least for the first part. So basically, what we're going to do is there is a little block from Mine Factory Reloaded called the sewer. This guy over here. We're going to go ahead and make one of these if we happen to have everything, which I think we pretty much almost do. We'll get ourselves a tin gear, we'll get ourselves a pneumatic servo, and we'll get ourselves a machine frame, and then we should be good to go. Boom. That gets us 4 sewers. I think, to be fair, we only need 1, because if we were to go ahead and look over here, got a little bit of a hole down here, we got all this space from before. What we're going to do is, I'm going to replace this here with the sewer, like that, and I'll probably put this sound muffler back down just underneath it, because I do still want to kind of muffle the sound of the cows, because they are still fairly loud. Where did that go? There it is. Let's stick that down. We can actually stick it down, I guess, probably right on top, like that. Kind of on top of the sewer, not to the left. There we go. We'll stick that down like that. There we go. All right. So basically, this thing is a really simple block, and basically, it just collects sewer from any of the cows above it. And if we look here, you can see we've got 26 millibuckets of sewage, and not a lot at all. And that's because by default, the sewer only checks, I believe, the 1x1 area above it. And what we could do to change that, to increase the area that it scans, and you'll see there is a flipping sound muffle above there, which is probably why it's not getting any sewage. What we could do is we can make some upgrades from Mine Factory Reloaded and make its area just a little bit bigger. So if we go ahead and type in upgrade, like so, you can see we have all of these ones here, these ones that kind of look a little weird if you ask me, but these ones over here are the ones from Mine Factory Reloaded. It goes all the way up to the Emerald upgrade, which increases the radius by 11, and actually I think I'm going to go ahead and make this one. It's a bit expensive, it's a bit over the top, but hopefully what that will do is you'll get some sewage from the cows and also the sheep nearby, and if we ever decide to expand this and make this a little bit bigger, we're kind of future-proofing a bit by using this Emerald Tier 1, so we'll go ahead and throw that right about there, and we should see there we go, look at that. That's more like it. Now we're getting quite a bit of sewage, and all we have to do now is connect it up to this fluiduct. I went ahead between episodes just to save a little bit of time and did all the piping between here and the room downstairs where the dynamos are going to go. And basically, all we have to do is grab ourselves some fluiducts, which we do have. I don't know. I think we tested this before. Do the hardened fluiducts connect up to the normal fluiducts? Let me test this real quick, because I have absolutely no idea if this works. It does. Okay. Don't really need to use these. Of course, we could use normal fluiducts, but we have some lying around, so we'll go ahead and use that. And then if we go ahead and check downstairs in the power room, which is a temporary name, we should start to see some sewage appear right about there. You can see it just flowing down. And as soon as we put the dynamos down, they should start to fill up with a little bit of sewage. So, which dynamos am I on about? If we go ahead and type in dynamo over here in NEI, dynamo, we are on about these ones down here, the thermal expansion dynamos. There are 5. The first one that we're going to use today is this guy over here, the reactant dynamo, made using a butt ton of bronze, a redstone transmission coil. We're going to go ahead and make 6 of these if we can. You can see I've made a bunch of bronze between episodes. I think we might have enough, although I'm not 100% sure. If we wait for the thermal expansion one, we can make them a bit easier. That does mean we need 12 of these, and it looks like we already had quite a bit of bronze in our AE system, which is kind of cool. We'll take 12 of those, and then we'll see if we have what it takes. And we do. Nice. Alright, I'm not too sure if we're going to have enough sewage to power 6 of these, but if we don't, we can always go ahead and add more cows. We can make the cow farm, the cow area bigger if needs be. It should all be fine and all work itself out eventually. Let's go down to the bottom floor, and let's hook these up. So we're going to want to put them face down, like that. And I'm thinking, actually, what we're going to need to do is bring all of these up by one. Kind of like, I don't know if we have any more of these. I think we might, but we're kind of doing something like that. So there we go. And then we're going to have the dynamos facing downwards like that. And we should start to see all of these apart from these end 2, which I didn't quite hook up because originally my plan was to make 4, but I don't think 4 would quite make enough power for what we need. So we'll go ahead and just stick one down there and there. And that should, hopefully, start to fill those up. Let's take a quick look. That one's full, 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 and the last one's almost full. And now it's full. Nice. Okay, so it looks like we do have almost enough storage there to fill all these things up. Don't know if that's going to continue to be the case as we move forward, but for now, it's working fine. Now, you'll notice, if we look into the GUI here of the reactant dynamo, you'll see that it's not actually making any power. And that's because the reactant dynamo needs both a solid sort of fuel over here, as well as a liquid in this tank, in order to produce some power. Now, the solid that you use and the liquid that you use can really be, it's really up to you. I'll put a link to the wiki down below, but there are like 5 different liquids and 5 different items that you can put in this dynamo. You can put them in any combination that you want, but the combo that we're going to use is sewage, because we have sewage from our cows, and then blaze powder, because we are getting a ton of blaze rods from our little farm over there. So if we were to go ahead and do something for the time being like this, and just to show you how it works, I'll just grab a few of those and stick that in like that. You'll see that actually goes ahead and starts to produce. There's 80 redstone flux a tick, and it should start to make some power, which, of course, because it's hooked up to the conduit there, is instantly going in to our energy core and being used to power both of these things over here. So that's how that's going to work. Now, I don't want to have to come over here every so often and manually fill this thing up. I want it to be automatic and to do it all by itself, and the way that we're going to do that is using some item ducts. Now, we have 3 there. I'm fairly certain we should be able to make a few more, possibly. Let's do a quick check here. Yeah, we can make a few more of those. We're going to need a ton. I'm going to take 30. We might need a few more than that, but hopefully we won't. And then the other thing we're going to use is a new server that we haven't actually used yet, and that is, and it might not be called server, I don't think it is. We're going to use this guy here, the Retriever. Now, we'll go ahead and grab the basic one for now. It's fairly easy to make. Does require some Enderium nuggets, which we don't have, which kind of kills me on the inside, but I think we should be able to make it fairly easy using this guy here, the Alloy Smelter. We just need some Enderium base, which is, again, shiny ingots, which I'm kind of scared we don't have. Oh, we do, thank goodness. We'll take a few of those. We'll grab ourselves whatever else it was we needed. Some silver and some tin. Let's grab those. Silver. And we got a lot of silver and some tin. And we'll go ahead and throw these in the alloy smelter. You'll notice that we did go ahead and make some electrum. That's going to be for later on in the episode. We are going to use this electrum to make another type of dynamo that I've never actually made before, and we're kind of going to test about with. Is that more than enough? I think it might be. Yeah, we only need 2, some blazing pyrotheum and some ender pearls. Do we have any pyrotheum? We do not. That is not a surprise to me at all. I didn't really think we had any. Let's see if we can make some. We can, thank you. And then we'll grab ourselves some ender pearls, like so, and we should be able to get this up and running. You can go in there, there, and there. That should get us 2. It might take a little while. This thing is kind of slow, and this process, this recipe, requires a ton of power. But basically, what we're going to do is we're going to have the item ducts that are coming from the grinder over here, that are currently under the floor down here. We're going to have those come up like this, and around into the back. Now, I should be able to kind of disconnect that side into the back of this pulverizer. So we're going to go ahead and grab this this thing over here, the framework, and throw that back in here, like so. That's going to allow us to configure the sides, the inputs, and outputs on the pulverizer. And we're going to set the back here to an input, like that. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to use the Enderium that we're about to get from this, thank you, throw that in there, get ourselves one of these just retrievers. I thought they were called retrieval servos, but they're not. One of these retrievers, and if we stick that into the item duct here, like so, and then we'll right-click on it, what we can now do is we can now tell this retriever to pull blaze powder, and you want to make sure that you set this to whitelist. So now what this is going to do is it's going to go ahead and actively pull blaze rods from anywhere else in the system. In this case, we have item ducts connected to this. It's going to pull them from there to over here. And the way we're going to like set that up is using a redstone signal. For now, we'll go ahead and use a lever, although I will go ahead and change this at some point because this looks kind of horrible. But that should start to pull from here. And there we go. You can see it's gone down. If we look in here now, it's pulverizing up the blaze rods, and it should. Right now, it's sending them into there. We want to turn that off. We don't want that to happen. I'm going to have it output to the bottom, like so. Get rid of this thing. I'm going to quickly make a barrel real quick. Do we have one lying around? We don't. Do we have what it takes to make a barrel? The answer is maybe. And that maybe has just turned into a pretty much yes. There we go. We'll take that and get ourselves a Java barrel. I'm going to stick this on top like so. The reason I'm going to stick that on top is I'm going to make this yellow. And I'm going to put all the sulfur into here so the system doesn't get backed up. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to have that come out of the bottom. And to do that, we're going to have to get rid of these two, but that's fine. We'll get rid of those. We're going to have it come out of the bottom and then go around and basically into those dynamos downstairs. So we are going to have to clear a bit of a path here, and I think what we're going to do is kind of go down and under. Do we have our axe on us? We do. Let's take that and do this. And we're going to go down, under, around, across, and then we'll head on down, and I think we'll just have to break back there and kind of come back down and hook it up here, and then that's going to work, and all of our blaze rods are going to go down there. Now, one thing we are going to have to work on here, as you can see, these cables here were being used to power the pulverizer, and now that we've broke them, what we're going to have to do is make a new type of conduit that we haven't made before, and one that is actually new to the new thermodynamics 1.7, and is actually really flipping awesome if you ask me, and that is the item flux duct, I want to say, although I'm not quite sure if that's the actual name of them. Fluctuating item duct is the actual name of this thing here. And it's made by putting an item duct into a fluid transposer with some destabilized redstone. So, if we go ahead and throw you in there after grabbing some destabilized redstone, we're only going to need pretty much one of these in order for it to work. So we'll take you, switch that around, and throw in at least one item duct. That should get us a fluctuating item duct. Can transfer up to 2,000 redstone flux per tick. So not quite as good as these guys over here, but more than good enough for our pulverizer. Stick that there. That should get power from these two. So this thing should be full of juice again. It is filling up as well, which is pretty awesome. And then all we're going to do is go ahead and just connect this up like this, going all the way down to the basement. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, guys. I'm going to hook this up to these dynamos down here, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, and a little while later, if we go ahead and do that, that should now start to move the blaze powder from the pulverizer down and into those dynamos. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back on. I did turn it off for a second because for some reason, the blaze powder was kind of bouncing around here and not doing anything. Hopefully, that has stopped. It's still bouncing. I'm not quite sure what's up with that there. Why? Oh, it's going back. Ooh, that is not what we want. Can we disconnect that? Yes, we can. Go the other way, please. Yeah, okay, so it tries to go the shortest distance it can. And in this case, I think what I just did there, I think the shortest distance was the trash can. So I think we just kind of binned a bunch of blaze rods there. But that's fine, that's fine. It's fine. It's fixed itself. Now, these item ducts are fairly slow, which is not the best thing in the world. And it's going to take quite a while for all of the stuff to get from up here down to where it needs to be. And I was actually kind of considering changing these up for these guys over here, the warp item ducts, because if we go ahead and hold shift, you can see it says uses redstone flux bracket RF to move items instantly. And basically, these are just normal item ducts, but if you go ahead and hook them up with redstone flux, they will move the items instantly from one place to another. So all of the blaze powder coming out of this pulverizer would instantly be transferred over to this. Now, it sounds like a good idea, but they are kind of expensive, requiring some more enderium for each set, I guess. But I don't really think we need them. Once these things start to get blaze powder, after a while, it'll just kind of start to have enough constantly. It'll kind of just keep itself going. So I don't really think we need them right now. Although I'll let this run out, and if it looks like it's gonna be a problem, we can go ahead and change it up. This looks like we're about to get our first set. You can see that this stuff lasts for ever. We're getting so much redstone flux out of this. You can see it is ticking down. This is actually making stuff, but these blaze rods last a very, very, very long time, which is kind of awesome. So you can see this is not going to take too long before these are all filled up. And it does look like they're trying to spread equally as well, which is kind of cool. Although it might just be a random thing. They might just be going randomly instead of equally. For some reason, a few decided to come this way. That's working nice, so we're getting some more power coming through now. Still not quite enough, because although we have 6 of these, each of these are only producing 80 redstone flux per tick. So overall, that's only an extra 480 redstone flux per tick coming from all of these guys. So what we're going to do now is jump back to what I said earlier and make our second set of dynamos for today. And those dynamos... for some reason, I can't spell dynamos today. Those dynamos are going to be these ones. The Innovation dynamos? I'm not quite sure. The new dynamos haven't been used before. You can see it says extract flux from various objects. These are why we have the Electrum. We're going to try and make 8 of these. However, I don't quite think we have enough Electrum. So what I'll do real quick, before we start making them, we are running low on gold, like surprisingly low on gold compared to silver and things like lead and everything else. But I'll throw some more of that in there. That's going to go ahead and make us some more Electrum. Let's go ahead and try and get at least, well, I was going to say at least, let's try and get 12 of these up and running, although that might be a bit of a long shot. For now, we'll make 8. We'll make 4 of these, and we'll see if that works out, okay? We need some more of these transmission coils. That should be fairly easy. We can probably make 6 of these. No problem at all. Boom, boom, and boom. Nice. Okay, let's go set these up down here. Again, we're going to have to move this up just a little bit, because I kind of laid these down a bit wrong. But we'll put those down like so. Have them coming up to the level of the floor. And then we are going to need one more if we want to hook all of these up. But for now, let's put one here, 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 and here. Now, what these do is basically one of the functions they have is that they can pull redstone flux from other items. For example, if we had something on us, for instance, this guy, the wireless terminal, that contains redstone flux, it should... Now, this doesn't contain redstone flux, it contains AE. If we had something on as an item, or even an energy cell, let's take that for example, we should be able to show it off with this guy. If we take this energy cell, which is full of redstone flux, we can use this thing to turn the power from this cell into redstone flux using this generator. It basically pulls out 80 redstone flux per tick. Now, you might be looking at me and thinking, Isaac, what in the world is the point in that? That's like the stupidest dynamo that I have ever seen. Well... it's not. It's actually kind of cool because it can also use redstone as power as well. And it actually makes quite a bit of power using a fairly small amount of redstone, believe it or not. So if we were to go ahead and grab some of this stuff that we actually have a ton of and stick it right about in here, one piece you could see has instantly gone because, well, we're connected up to this thing here. Let me grab one of these and move it. Like this. I put that there and put one piece of redstone in it. You will see that it produces an absolute ton of redstone flux, considering it only used one piece of redstone. And you can see by this little lightning bolt over here that the redstone actually lasts a fairly long time, much like the blaze powder that we have in our reactor dynamos. It lasts a long time, and already we've got 40,000 redstone flux. We've got 20,000 stored over here. We've got, sorry, 20,000 redstone flux stored up from that one piece of redstone, which is kind of insane. So basically what we're going to do is you'll see over here we have an ME glass flux cable. This is hooked up to our AE system. What we're going to do real quick is get ourselves an export bus. Like so, export bus, this guy over here, which allows us to pull stuff out of the AE system. Thank you. We're also going to get ourselves a chest, and then we're going to pull things from the chest into the dynamos. Now, what we could have done is gone ahead and put export buses on all of these, but export buses are a bit of a pain to make, so instead, we're going to put an export bus on a chest, and then have item ducts pulling stuff out of the chest into these dynamos. Back over in this dynamo, you can see it's pretty much full. It's pretty much filled, the 40,000 redstone flux, and the redstone hasn't even run out yet. You get kind of about 64,000 redstone flux from one piece of redstone with these things, which is kind of insane. We pretty much went ahead and think I wasted all that. Nope, it retains it. Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ourselves a chest. Now, we could just use a normal chest, but what would happen then is if we take a look into a normal chest, it's pretty big. And although we've got a fair amount of redstone, I don't think that we have, what is this, 27 stacks? I think it's about 27 stacks. We don't have 27 stacks of redstone. So what it would do is it would pull all of our redstone out of the AE system, which is not what we want because we still want to be able to use our redstone to make stuff. So instead, we're going to make a dirt chest. This is a chest that I never ever thought that I would have any use for whatsoever. But as it turns out, the Dirt Chest 9000 is the chest of choice today. We're going to go ahead and grab this guy. It's just a chest surrounded by dirt. Really easy to make. And what we're going to do is, do we have any item ducts? We do. Do we have a servo? We do. Let's take you. And again, another lever. Thank you. And we're going to set this up downstairs, and the dirt chest basically holds one stack of items. It holds one stack, which might sound absolutely terrible, but in hindsight is absolutely amazing for this, because it allows us to do exactly what we want, and we're going to go ahead and move that back one to there, and then if we do this, boom, set this to redstone, like so, that should start to fill this chest up with redstone. Maybe. Please. Okay, so for whatever reason, it didn't like the Dirt Chest 9000. Not quite sure what's up with that. So instead what we're going to do is this, because that way it can still only hold one stack of redstone at a time. You can see right now, the ME export bus is fairly slow, but again, that shouldn't really be too much of an issue once we get all of these hooked up and running, because it should, in fact, these things take so long to process one piece of redstone that it really shouldn't matter. So again, we're going to do this. Like so, we're going to set the server there, make sure it's set to ignore, and then we're going to go ahead and stick a lever down like that. And that should start to pull all of those out. There we go, it's pulling that out. Now we do actually, let's turn that off. We do, in fact, need to blacklist these. So we'll go ahead and do that. That should mean that it's no longer able to pull these out. Even if we do that, it should still only pull out the redstone, and it is. By the looks of things, it's also filling up a lot faster now, which is nice. That's going to go ahead and fill all these up. Again, that's going to go ahead and produce a bunch more redstone flux for us. We should now be able to go ahead and make ourselves the last few of those dynamos using the electrum from our alloy smelter over here. Thank you. I'm going to take that out. I don't think we'll need more than a stack. Possibly, although we might. I'm not fairly certain we won't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4? I think we only needed 4, didn't we? Yeah. Okay. Made a few more gears there. That's fine. We'll get you some use out of those at some point. We'll stick you there. And then, do we happen to have one more redstone flux duct? We do not. So for now, we're going to stick with that. What I'll probably do between episodes is go ahead and shimmy this around a little bit so that we can get a redstone signal to this and get an item duct over to here, as well as powering all that stuff up. And we should now be producing quite a bit more power. Now, not all of these have redstone yet, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and kind of expedite this process of sending redstone to these guys, like so, and like so. They should start to produce quite a bit of power, and that should give us, again, another 480 over here, which is about an extra 1,000, and considering we also have 1,000 up here from our big reactor, that should be more than enough to, we have 1,400 coming from our big reactor, that should be more than enough to keep these machines down here running. Now, maybe not the recycler, but, now, I don't know, I really want the recycler to be able to run this fast. Let's see, can we get up to 7? We can do 7. Can we we can't do 8. For some reason, 8 is just the cutoff point where things are just like, nope, we're not going to work anymore. But this is working pretty well. It's not the fastest in the world, and I would like it so that we have a constant stream of scrap coming to our mass fabricator. That would make it so much faster than it is right now. And we can only do that by adding this last overclocker upgrade. I might go ahead and throw down those generators again, although that would mean coming down over like consistent intervals and adding more of these on. However, adding the last little dynamo over here might just push us over the edge to be able to run 8 overclockers. Not too sure. The last thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is cover some of this stuff up with these covers. Because look at that, boom, boom, just makes the world look a little bit nicer. I'm pretty sure we can put one there, and that still works. It's all nice and covered up. And then we can go ahead and make a few more. We don't need covers there. We can just fill those in. We can go ahead and make a few more for the floor here, just to cover up those conduits and make it look just a little bit nicer. And the way that we make the covers for thermal dynamics is a little bit different to some of the other covers. We don't use the forge multi-blocks. Instead, we get these structural ducts, which are fairly easy to make. It's just some lead and some iron nuggets. Take a few of those, and then I'm fairly certain that all we have to do is that. Yeah, and that gets us a bunch of those. We'll take 12. That should be exactly the right amount because we have 12 dynamos, or 12 spots for dynamos to go in. And then we should just be able to hook these up underneath. Now, probably going to have to go ahead and break the floor a little bit to set these up, but that should be fine. Let's see. Can we do this? Boom, boom, boom. And again, these should still connect through the covers here, which is kind of cool. Like that. It does look like that actually. Did that connect? Like the textures? Oh, the textures. Wow, what? The textures for the covers connected, but the textures for the covers didn't connect with the textures for the non-covers. That's a real pain. Anyway, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go ahead and throw down these last couple of covers over here. I'll stick that last dynamo down, fix this up. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to like. I'm going to leave this running now for a good couple of episodes, and we'll come back to it once we have a decent amount of UU matter. Over the next couple of episodes, we'll move away from some of the industrial craft tech stuff into some other mods again. But for now, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.